Good day everyone. Now we discuss about a critical examination of regulatory laws on vice and wagering in the Philippines. Vices like gambling, alcohol consumption, and drug use have been persistent issues across societies, requiring strengthening laws and regulations. In the Philippines, where gambling plays a significant economic role, the government has attempted to regulate these activities. However, are these regulations enough? Today, we will critically examine the laws governing vices and wagering, highlighting areas of improvement and evaluate the controversial Philippine offshore gaming operators or POGO industry. Overview of regulatory laws on vices and wagering. First, let's dive into the key laws that regulate vices and wagering in the Philippines. Several regulations govern gambling and other vices, notably. First, Republic Act No. 9287, which increased penalties for illegal gambling. 2. Presidential Decree 1869, the PAGCOR Charter, which regulates legal gambling activities in casinos, betting stations, and other gaming outlets. 3. Republic Act No. 9165 or the Comprehensive Dangerous Drug Act to regulate and control drug use and abuse. These laws provide the backbone for the country's efforts in controlling the social impacts of gambling and other vices.
Lacuna or deficiency in the laws. So, however, despite the comprehensive nature of these laws, there is a lacuna, a regulatory gap that has become more pronounced in recent years. The emergence of online gambling, particularly with the rise of the Philippine offshore gaming operators, what we call POGO, has exposed the limits of current regulations. While PAGCOR oversees local land-based gambling, there is insufficient oversight over online operations that cater to foreign national but are based within the country. So this lack of regulation extends to taxation, labor protection, and even crime control. So, for instance, reports of tax evasion, money laundering, and worker exploitation in the POGO industry have raised serious concerns. To address this, the Philippines needs to revise its gambling laws to include clearer definitions of online operations, extend the powers of PAGCOR, and ensure stricter monitoring of POGO activities, including worker rights protection and proper taxation policies, assessing the efficacy of anti-vice initiatives. Now, how effective have the government's anti-vice initiatives been? So the Philippines has rolled out several high-profile campaigns, including Oplan Tukhang, for illegal drugs and the strict crackdown on illegal gambling deals. While these initiatives have led to the closure of many illegal operations and decrease in reported drug use. So their aggressive tactics have also been criticized for human rights abuses and focusing on punitive rather than rehabilitative approaches. For gambling, PAGCOR's oversight has generated significant revenue for the state, but illegal gambling still thrives in rural and urban areas, indicating enforcement is not entirely effective. This calls for more sustainable strategies that tackled social issues like poverty and addiction rather than solely relying on law enforcement. Philippine offshore gaming operations, or POGO, one of the most debated issues is the operation of POGOs in the country. Let's weigh the pros and cons. For POGOs, the industry has contributed over $11 billion in taxes since its inception. POGOs have created job opportunities including local administrative and support rules. They boosted sectors such as real estate, with office space and housing demand rising due to POGO employees. Against POGOs, however, POGOs have been linked to increased criminal activity, including money laundering and human trafficking. Concerns about tax evasion remain, with several operators found to be delinquent in their obligations. So the lack of sufficient worker protections, particularly for foreign employees, has led to multiple labor rights violations. So, is POGO something I support? Given the current state, the cons outweigh the pros without clearer regulations, stronger enforcement, and guaranteed worker protections. The risks to social stability and national security are too high to justify its continuation in its current form.
Criminological theory and influence of socialization agents. To understand the roots of vice and deviant behavior, criminological theory offers insight into how socialization agents like family and peers influence norms. Let's consider three key theories. First, we have differential association theory by Sutherland 1939. This theory posits that people learn deviant behavior through interaction with others. Example, a young boy named Juan who grows up in a family where gambling is a common activity. His father regularly beats on cockfights and his uncle often gambled during family gatherings. Over time, Juan observes and learns that gambling is not only accepted but encouraged in his social environment. As a result, when he reaches adulthood, Juan begins to gamble frequently because he has been socialized to see it as a normal behavior. This is a direct application of differential association, as one deviant behavior by gambling was learned through interaction with his family. Second is we have the social learning theory by Bandura 1977. This expands on differential association by highlighting that individuals not only learn behaviors from their immediate social circles but also by observing models such as media portrayals of gambling or substance use. For example, a teenager named Alex who has been never gambled before but it regularly exposed to TV shows and online content that glamorize gambling as fun, exciting, and rewarding. In addition, some of Alex's friends at school often talk about their own gambling experience. Over time, Alex begins to internalize the idea that gambling is a normal and desirable behavior, despite never having engaged in it. Eventually, Alex tries online gambling, imitating both what was seen on media and what peers had discussed. In this case, Alex learned that the behavior not only from close peers but also through the media's portrayal of gambling. This shows how individuals can adopt behaviors by observing models even outside their immediate social environment. Third, social control theory by Hershey 1969. This theory emphasizes the importance of strong bonds with family and society. When these bonds are weak, individuals are more likely to engage in deviant behavior. For instance, if there is a lack of family supervision, a young person may turn to gambling or substance abuse as an escape. A 2022 study by Garcia and Reyes examined the link between family dynamics and gambling addiction in the Philippines. It concludes that individuals from homes where gambling was normalized were significantly more likely to develop gambling habits. This highlights the role of family socialization in shaping attitudes toward vices. For example, a teenager named John growing up in a household where family bonds are weak. His parents are often absent, either working long hours or disengaged in family matters. With little supervision, or emotional support, John starts spending more time with peers who introduce him to gambling as a way to pass the time and escape personal issues. Because of the lack of strong family bonds and guidance, John becomes increasingly involved in gambling, finding a sense of excitement and belonging with his friends. Without parental oversight or involvement, John's gambling behavior escalates into problematic habits. In this example, John's weak connection to his family led him to seek other outlets, making him more prone to engaging in deviant behaviors like gambling. This illustrates Hershey's social control theory, where the absence of strong societal or familial bonds increases the likelihood of evidence. In conclusion, while the Philippines had made significant efforts to regulate vices and control their social impact, there are still gaps that need urgent attention. Gambling laws must be modernized to address the realities of the digital age and anti-vice campaign should balance the enforcement with prevention and rehabilitation. Regarding focus without reform, the risks for outweigh the benefits. Socialization, especially within the family, plays a pivotal role in shaping one's approach to vices. Therefore, preventive education and positive familial influences are key in mitigating the risk of vices-related behaviors.